It's a little sad to see this week of guest hosts end out, but we get to end on the pinnacle. We have Daniel Govaer in the studio. We've already been getting sideways, but we're going to talk about Carvana Megasites, New Blue Sky, and a dealership sting operation executed in front of a TikTok camera. We have to wait to the end of the show for that one.
Right back where we started.
Right back where we started. This is a full cycle. I feel like it's like, oh, I saw this, a merry-go-round. And it's been a good merry-go-round. We've had amazing guest hosts this week. And I think it's just appropriate that you and I just spent 15 minutes when we should have been live with the show, just in the middle of the general antics and ongoings that you and I talk about.
People have like a meeting after the meeting. We have the BS before the show.
It was amazing. I feel like there are several things that would happen to probably end our careers and simultaneously boost our careers into the stratosphere, but we just can't tell which order that happens in.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And that's why, listen, ask Tucker Carlson how he did it. And then we'll know at least what the game plan is.
That's a great, he did exactly that. Is it yet? Oh no, it's actually just the beginning of lots of listenership and control. I don't know.
Focused at least on the task at hand.
Here. Okay. Most important thing. It's the 5th Friday of the month, which every dealership rejoices when this happens. And there's going to be is there 31 days in August? We're going to have a 5th Saturday. Are you kidding me? Yes. Nathan, our producer, is saying yes.
And
how did we not pick this up earlier?
Close on a holiday or a weekend, so
they certainly don't. So we got some freebies coming up. We've been releasing some podcasts that we took from the NAMAD convention that recorded last week, and today we're with Perry Watson III. Yesterday we're with Perry the Fourth, which is his father and just total legend OG. You have to check these out. Go to In the Dirt, and you can search In the Dirt ASOTU, and these podcasts will come up. But Perry 4 is dad, GM, part owner of Marysville Toyota, doing some amazing things, focusing on his people and outstanding performance at this Toyota store. And Perry 3 is at the helm of NAMAD, and he's got some vision in both of these, talking about investing in the next generation super heavily as the way to win. So excited for you to check those out. What else we got? ASOTU Edge webinar coming up. What's holding your department back? Beth Carroll, she's so great, of National Independent Vehicle Title Agents. You didn't think titling could be so fun, but Beth and Erica Calderon of MADA are going to be on this, and it's going to be a blast. You can sign up at ASOTU.com. It's right there. Just put your name in. Our 30-minute webinars are just
fun.
A lot of fun. Make titling fun again. Right?
Mitzvah? I don't. But anyway, yeah.
Mitzvah sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like mitzvah sounds like a Jewish slang word for like, you get the cupcakes and you put the mitzvah on them.
I got this mitzvah, and it happens. I don't know.
We got a Yiddish title. Now we have a Yiddish name for a title clerk. That's why people tune into this show right now.
For that mitzvah. Type of multicultural education. Miseducation.
All right, we better get into some news quick. All right, Carvana is transforming the ADESA Kansas City location into its first, what they're calling a mega site, blending auto auctions with vehicle inspection and recon. It's set to create 200 new jobs in Belton, Missouri, further expanding their retail and wholesale operations. Basically, this model is unique to Kansas City. All other locations like ADESA Buffalo and Portland will be auction-only locations. Even though they thought they were going to incorporate recon, they're not. They're testing out this mega site first. If you remember, you do remember, they acquired 56 ADESA network sites in 2022. And always the goal was to make these operationally integrated so it makes them more efficient. Brian Boyd, SVP of inventory at Carvana, said, as Carvana transitions to its long-term phase of driving profitable growth, we're excited to further tap into the power of our infrastructure by bringing inspection and reconditioning capabilities to more ADESA sites. So they're going to be running both. Auction lanes still going, but they're also leveraging them as recon sites.
Not mention anything about short or medium term profitability, but the long term profitability.
Yes.
And I think also, we're talking before about, good publicity and bad publicity, or if there's just publicity. Well, in this case, who's talked about ADESA? How many times has anyone talked about ADESA Kansas City up until this happened?
Never. Zero. Patrick Abad weighs in. Oh, you got him on the show. He probably just wanted to watch the downfall of both of our careers in real time. So he tuned in today.
Actually tuned in.
He says, I thought Carvana was going out of business. I know that was the big conversation.
They're onto a new business. That's the model. You can go out where one business closes, another opens. And I think, honestly, the location isn't surprising compared to the others. Like, I don't know of a more polarizing example you could give, like ADESA Kansas City will have this physical location. But Buffalo and Portland won't. Well, that probably makes sense that they wouldn't be in the future. But from a location standpoint,
they said they're not right now. I don't think they said they won't. I've been to the Buffalo one several times, and you think about it, is there Carvana in Canada?
No, I think they're way too polite for that there.
Where? They're too polite in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but I think look, if nothing else, Carvana is at least making us look at what the potential of a company that wants to really take over what, used to be considered the periphery or an associated industry. So there's no doubt that there's innovation and intent there. And from that perspective, it's something interesting to look at. I think if they start doing it, if nothing else, other people that are paying attention will probably be able to do it and probably do it better. And we'll see, I think things like this could be really interesting for driving forward how we're acquiring inventory in the future. I don't know that it's something that I'm going to raise any red flag or pirate flag just yet for, but I definitely think it's something interesting to watch to see how they are successful or unsuccessful with it and what we can do with it.
I just realized something. If Patrick's still on the stream, I got to show you this shirt. Oh, we got the special edition, love people more than you love cars, Beaver Toyota edition. You can't really get it out from behind the microphone.
I can see the
Beaver.
Beaver.
There it is. Yeah, it's legit. We're actually doing that, by the way. We're starting to make shirts for dealer groups co-branded with there, so their people can wear them on Fridays or Mondays or whenever they want to let them, or just take them home. So there you go. Little special announcement. We'll get more on that soon.
Enough merch, and I was, how can you celebrate?
Got to make it your own. Yeah, people need to stand behind this and be like, we believe this, not they believe this. We believe it.
We believe, and I believe.
I believe too. I'm gonna get you one for the Wheelhouse podcast.
Oh, thank you.
If you didn't know, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't.
Daniel hosts a podcast called The Wheelhouse. It's an ASOTU podcast collab thing we have going on where he basically gets people on and asks them really hard questions and has a lot of fun watching them answer.
I think they're like fun questions that just don't normally get asked.
Well, they're fun. They're mostly no, they're real questions. You don't softball it. You ask people questions that other people want to know the answers to, and you do have fun with it because that's just your personality.
Okay. Can I give you an example? Upcoming this month is Hispanic Heritage Month, and that coincides perfectly with the show. Really what we're going to be talking about is how much we don't know and how much we're missing in most cases about advertising to the Hispanic market and Spanish, what you need for a Spanish language website, how you do first party data for your Spanish speaking customers.
Oh my gosh.
And the panel is going to be outstanding. And I guarantee you the playbook is going to be laid out, and then it's just going to be up to you if you want to do it.
Look, I can't think of a more valuable thing for any dealer that's anywhere near a Hispanic market, period. And that's pretty much what percentage of the country you say this is relevant to? A lot.
Yeah. Over a third. Easily.
Yep. And so it's funny. Now we're just saying all the stories things that Patrick's really good at. He's good at pretty much everything at his store. He's got basically a used car factory. If you've ever visited his Recon in the back, because Patrick was a detailer and also has an exemplary Hispanic marketing. I don't even know. It's not even an initiative. It's like a part of who they are. Pretty amazing.
Bilinguality.
Patrick, I mean, he just showed up today and look at all this. We're just showering him with compliments.
Moving on.
Speaking of mergers and acquisitions, right? Worst segue ever. It's nothing to do with this. But Haig Partners has released their Q2 2024 Haig report detailing a shift in auto retail marketplace from record profits and high dealership values. Basically, it's highlighting a 32% decline in dealership profits and evolving trends in buy-sell transactions. Basically, the average dealership pre-tax income in Q2 2024 was $1 million, which is a 35% drop from year over year in 23. The number of dealerships sold in Q2 2024 is on track to be down 11% year over year, but the year in total is still on track to be the fourth most active year for buy sells, and you can count the other three just by counting backwards. Blue sky values remain elevated, but are still down 11% year over year, but they're still more than double pre-pandemic levels. Public retailers significantly reduced spending on domestic dealerships, with Lithia being the only active buyer publicly traded of domestic dealerships right now. Here's a quote from Alan Haig from the report. He says, quote, "We know that many dealers who wanted to grow were sitting on the sidelines over the past few years as they waited for prices to fall. Now it's time to get up." Here's a producer's note. This is a new one. Producer's note. Thanks, Nathan. He says he spoke with Derek Garber of Haig, who was at ASOTU this year. But he spoke with him when he was at the NAMAD meeting last week. And Derek said there are still a lot of stores for sale, but they aren't the high producers we saw in 22 and 23. It's still a good volume of buy sell activity, but lower valuations overall. Look at that. That's like an inception insight. It's like an insight within an insight.
I think that, here's maybe not as cool of an inception one. I think it's more than ever, we're looking at a lot of what's tied into inventory, and not just what we're used to seeing in the past few years as far as like the struggles in getting inventory. I'm saying you're looking at brands that, there's not a problem getting a CDGR franchise right now.
Yep.
And there's not a problem getting a Nissan franchise right now. And that has a lot to do also if you look at their day supply of inventory that's on the ground. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the manufacturers and OEMs that have much tighter control of that, how easy is it to get a Toyota store right now? How easy is it to get a Subaru store right now?
Impossible.
Right. And so, and then never mind some of your Highline brands. And then within Highline, some of those are easier to get based on what the amounts of inventory that they're struggling with, and and how that ties exactly back into profitability. Like we've said before, if nothing else changed except for the rate of sale in the market, dealers' profitability changed based off of floor plan being a profit source to being an expense source. And then depending on how much inventory you're carrying, that absolutely can equal that sum that they're mentioning, if not higher. And the dealerships that are still profiting from that are those with the lower days supply that are selling through their inventory. And those are the ones that you're still not going to get. I do think, I'll throw this since it's recorded, I think when you see a break in the housing market nationwide, I think when you start to see the housing market break, then you'll see a much higher volume of transactions in dealerships.
Interesting. I was thinking, just as you were talking about the similarities of this, like Alan's comment of like, hey, a lot of people want to grow and they want to acquire stores. They've been on the sidelines because prices have been high. That still sounds kind of like the retail market right now. As it's funny how I don't think that's the same maybe it is kind of a similar reason, but everything's been thrown into a mix.
No, and in the same breath, then also like how many new points have opened, and it's not that there's always tons of new points opening, but I think also, and somebody I'm sure can fact check it, but I think we're also on pace for some of the fewest amount of new point openings, granting of new points. So there's much fewer of those than there are.
Furious fight over new points.
And there are dealerships for sale. So, to the point of how many people are looking at a pre-owned car versus or together with a new car, you probably have to look at a dealership that's in existence because there's probably not going to be an open point coming anytime soon to where, most cases to where you're at.
Well, speaking of new cars.
Stop. Segue.
Got a fun one to end the week here. I think it's fun because justice was served and there's a little bit of an acting job that's going on amongst these dealers. It's a savage acting job, but for the good guys. A viral TikTok video from Gossett Kia in Memphis shows a seemingly typical vehicle delivery that takes a surprising turn when the customer is arrested for identity theft. The customer, William Hayes, 63, is facing charges of forgery and attempted theft, accused of using a deceased person's identity to fraudulently buy 2 Kia Tellurides worth $158,885. Are Kia Tellurides like 80 grand now?
Seems
or the F&I office really got him.
Following the usual.
He bought it all, right? So I'll take everything.
Sounds good.
The video begins with the usual celebratory scene of a car purchase, including applause and congratulations, then abruptly cutting to the customer being handcuffed by police. The video is tagged with hashtag justice is served. It's going viral on TikTok with over 15 million views. And we get to show you the video right now highlighting these brave employees' role in this arrest. Let's roll the video.
Congratulations.
Fake applause.
Handshake too, right?
Yeah, handshake, fake applause, picture posing for the camera. Hard cut to scene, surrounded by 3 officers in handcuffs.
And see, not the best editing, but it didn't even matter.
I mean, it's terrible editing, but I think the point, in the Automotive News article, which I was surprised, Automotive News is the one that picked this up and put it out there on the homepage. But thank you, Jamie and team.
What was that editorial meeting like? There's a TikTok thing we have to cover. Who wants to?
The intern brought it up.
Where's the intern?
They're like, hey, is the intern? Are you paying attention to this meeting? They're like, they just flip their phone around.
They're all watching it like in landscape mode.
They're watching it. You can't even watch a TikTok video in landscape mode unless you're watching it sideways. But I think they said in the article that casually, if you listen closely, it's like Kool and the Gang is playing in the background.
Right. Yeah. And 100% the salesman. I mean, cool poker player. The shaking hands, the applause. Also, I think just looking from the if you've seen that meme about like if your sales manager has these pants and shoes, you're 100% going to make it through the recession. That's kind of like
that's the guy.
That's the guy. But look,
that's the guy.
We talked about this actually on the last episode of the Wheelhouse, and it's your entire CX experience, your entire dealership experience is on TikTok. And what TikTok has done, amongst the things that TikTok has done extremely well, is pointing out the behind the scenes of everything.
That's right.
And the all aspects of everything. If you want to know what it's like to be a crane operator in Korea, you can get on TikTok and you can find what that's like.
I love those so much.
This is basically showing you've got 360 degrees of your business is on TikTok. And I think, and I understand completely where the dealership's coming from. You see plenty of it from the consumer or the fraudster perspective on the businesses, to the businesses, against the businesses. And so I'm sure that a lot of the popularity has to do with those of us that have had to experience that on the losing end of it as the dealership, watching a dealership kind of return it in kind. And I don't think, of what they're getting. I think they deserve a lot of good recognition for what they decided to produce forth in content. I hope they can continue to produce good content I hope they don't have too many of these, and then they can produce good content and continue to be engaging just without the necessary justice is served portion of things.
The necessary felony arrest. Hey, everybody, there's one thing. All of this adds up to one thing. If you pay attention to make sure you have thriving people, you will have thriving profits. The internet will love you, and so will we.
That's right.